So it's now been almost a week since I started using the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 8. I even bought a case for it, which means it's happening. I am ditching the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra for this thing. Guys, Samsung created a monster. I already published a video about my 6 cons and 4 pros, so this is going to be an extra follow-up video. If you want to watch the original video, the link to that is going to be down below. Together, both videos, this one and that one, will give you the complete picture. But after another week of use, I've discovered several more pros and cons, including a few that could genuinely make or break your ownership experience. And of course, we are going to be talking about the battery life, very important. And most importantly, there is one thing you absolutely need to know about the display. If you don't use it the right way, you'll never experience what makes the Fold 8 so special. So let's dive in and get started right away, guys. Real quick, guys, if you are thinking of buying the Fold 8 or the 8 Ultra, my affiliate links to buy them at the lowest pricing and the best discounts are going to be down below. You can get up to $1,200 instant trade-in discount. And remember, you can use the code PayPal100 at checkout to get $100 off on top of everything if you check out with PayPal. So you can get the Fold 8 for a steal. Links are going to be down below. All right, so the very first thing I want to quickly talk about is going to be the battery life, which I'm going to let you guys know is quite impressive. So this screen here is since last full charged. It was charged to 100%. Right now I have 44% left. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on view details. So when you look at the details, you can see I have 4 hours and 14 minutes of screen on time. Now this is quite impressive because this is very similar to what I was getting on the S26 Ultra. You can see at the bottom, I've been watching Netflix, I've been using Maps, a lot of One UI Home browsing, a lot of YouTube watching, some Google, and all the usual suspects. So 56% of battery life has given me 4 hours and 14 minutes of screen on time and also 11 hours of standby time. And I'm almost done with today. It is 11:58 p.m. as I'm recording this, and I still have 44% battery life left. So the conclusion with the battery, it is preliminary, but it does look rock solid. Now, in a previous video, I talked about how amazingly bright this display is. It has a peak brightness of 3000 nits. However, I do want to show you something very important. If you take this phone outside right now without the adaptive brightness enabled and you just go like this, that is not going to give you the peak brightness. This is not 3000 nits. To get the 3000 nits, you have to step outside under extremely bright conditions and then turn on adaptive brightness. Now you can see as soon as I turned that on, it dropped down. It self-adjusted itself to the ambient lighting conditions. So when you go outside in bright conditions, it's just going to automatically peak itself, okay? Now let me show you, I have a flashlight here. I'm going to throw the flash into the sensor right here, the ambient light sensor. Look at what happens. I'm going to turn the flashlight on and keep your eye on this bar, okay? That's what happens when you step outside. Look at how the brightness slider went up a little bit and it's still going up, reacting to the ambient light, which I'm actually flashing onto the sensor, okay? So that's what happens in bright light. What you're seeing right now is real 3000 nits. The camera is not picking it up, but I can see right from here, it is extremely bright, okay? And I also want you guys to notice when I turn off the flashlight, the slider is going to start to go down automatically, again, adjusting to the ambient light. So I'm going to turn it off right now and watch this creep down slowly. Takes a couple seconds, but as you can see, it just started. You can see it is slowly creeping down, lowering the brightness automatically. I just want to let you guys know that is how these things work. So to get the peak brightness, make sure you use adaptive brightness. Of course, if you're in the house, you can just go boom, no adaptive, you can do manual. But if you're outside, boom, go adaptive. All right, guys, so the one thing I want to quickly talk about is, this is very important, by the way. This is a wide phone compared to other phones, compared to the S26 Ultra, to the Fold 7. So when you are holding this phone in your hand, you have this wide grip. And if you have smaller hands, you are gonna drop this phone, okay? So make sure you buy a case, a protective case, so if it drops, at least it is safe. But if you hold it like this, with no case, like I'm doing right now, look at that wide grip. This is gonna fall at some point or other. In comparison, here's the Samsung Galaxy Fold 8 Ultra, which is the same as the Fold 7. This never fell from my hand in this position, okay? Never. The grip is so solid on this, it never goes down. On the Fold 8, the wide version, it is gonna fall. I guarantee it. Make sure to buy a nice protective case. Do stay away from super thin cases unless they have some kind of protection built into them to handle drops. Now, one more thing with the size, with this being so wide, we have a problem. So you can see the Fold 8 Ultra. It's going to be very easy to use most apps with one hand. Look at that. My thumb can't go anywhere without me dropping the phone, okay? With this one, because it is wide, my thumb is not going to be able to stretch all the way to the end as easy. And there is a little trick for that. I want to show that to you guys. So basically, if I double tap on the home screen, I can activate the one-handed mode. Now I have full access to the display, okay? So you can do that with this phone. You can do this on this one as well, but you don't need to. But on this one, it's going to be very, very useful. And I do want to show you guys, in case you're wondering, what you do is you go to your settings, okay? You scroll down, you go over to advanced features, and then you enable one-handed mode. If you're using gestures, you can do the gesture activation. If you're using buttons, you can do the button activation. So you can see double tap and I get that activated. And if I tap on the empty area, it goes back to normal. Just something you should know. Now, next up, I want to talk about a pro and a con in comparison to the Fold 8 Ultra. So we have the Fold 8, Fold 8 Ultra. So here's what I want to talk about. So both of these products have split screen multitasking. As of now, with two windows side by side, Fold 8 Ultra is superior because right here, we have two 6.5-inch displays. Over here, we have two 5.5-inch displays, so you are getting more real estate here. Now, one pro the Fold 8 has right now is this. I can pull another application into the mix, like this one, just a random one right here, and I can have three-way split screen multitasking. Some people might love this. On the Fold 8 Ultra, you're not going to have three-way split screen multitasking. You can do this. Let me just grab this and put it right over here. You can do this, but you cannot do this three-way split screen multitasking. Now, so far, I still prefer this because I'm still getting a lot of real estate per application. Here, things are getting tight. But here's one pro on the Fold 8 that you might like personally, even though I would still stick to the Fold 8 Ultra for multitasking. Let me show you what that is. I can grab this and I can push it to the side, okay? And then I can resize this, and now I have a big work area for two applications side by side, and I can tap right over here, and that's going to come right in, and again, I'm going to have the two large displays, and I can do three-way tasking just like this. That is great, okay? So far, so good. You might love this. But then again, here, I want to show you guys, if I do this, okay, now I can only do two-way multitasking, but I have enormous work area per application, so I can jump from this app to this app just like that, okay? The only difference is over here, it is 3 apps. Over here, it is 2 apps, even though we have extremely large work area. Now, personally, for me, this entire thing is a con on the Fold 8 because I would use this for business, productivity, multitasking. I just need the larger area. But there are people that don't care about that stuff. They might actually like this one better. So I just present it to you and you make a choice. So that's why I call this a pro and a con. All right, guys. So another huge thing with the Fold 8 is it is definitely designed to watch movies in a superior manner compared to the Fold 8 Ultra. And when I said this in my previous videos, some people did not like it because they like the Fold 8 Ultra. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. So here's the Fold 8. This is an aspect ratio of 4:3. This here has an aspect ratio of 10:9, which is almost 1:1, which means it is a square device, okay? It is square like this. It still stays square when you rotate it, so it doesn't matter. So this is a wide landscape orientation. Here's my TV in my living room. That TV is designed to enjoy movies. Which one of these tablets has a shape more like that TV? It is the Fold 8, okay? So that's why it is better to watch movies. On the Fold 8 Ultra, you get big black bars on the top and the bottom. Doesn't matter if you rotate the phone. You get the big black bars. On the Fold 8, you do not get the big black bars. You get a very similar experience compared to a high definition TV that is sitting in your living room. Okay, so again, I want to emphasize that the Fold 8 designed for high level media consumption. And the best part is you unfold it and it's ready to go. You don't have to rotate it this way. You don't have to rotate it that way. It is just good to go in the perfect aspect ratio to watch movies. Now, one more thing I want to quickly mention is an issue that we had on the Z Fold 7, which is also now present on the Z Fold 8 Ultra. So the Z Fold 7 and the 8 Ultra are actually a little tricky to open because it's so thin with extremely smooth aluminum edges and strong closing magnets. In comparison, the Fold 8, for some reason, even though it is equally slim, is so much more easier to open with zero friction or resistance. It just opens up. So just something I thought I'd mention, especially for people that have owned the Fold 7 and know what I'm talking about. Alright, so that about wraps up everything I wanted to talk about in this video. Again, this is quite an impressive new product. Now, some people are confused as to why it is getting more attention than the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra, which is supposed to be the Ultra version with all the bells and whistles. But in reality, there really is not that much of a difference between the two. The only big thing is that the Fold 8 Ultra has that third camera. It's a telephoto camera. Yes, it does have a larger display, but again, as you can see, the smaller form factor, and when you unfold it, the wider form factor is what is actually appealing to people. It is selling more than the Z Fold 8 Ultra based on some early reports. It is also $200 cheaper, and like I mentioned in the beginning, with the right trade-in and the $100 off coupon, you can get it for as low as $599. The links to those deals are going to be down below, so check them out if you're interested. But yeah, compared to the Z Fold 7, when I first got my hands on it, I am unfolding this way more often than I unfolded the other one. I'm using it more as it was intended. You got the outer display for daily tasks, and you got the inner display for media consumption. It is so well tuned for media that I'm just using it more and more for that particular purpose. But if you do have any questions, comments, or concerns, or your opinions, do drop them down below. Let me know what you guys think. Would you pick the Z Fold 8 or the Z Fold 8 Ultra? Why and why not? Guys, for now, have a fantastic day, all right?